a new and improved boathouse. The word boathouse implies boats. So we have two very special boats that we're going to christen right now. We have the Sandra Dupcak from '91. And if I could get Delma Lynne and Sandy Dupcak to step up with me. I understand Rob Dupcak is going to be taking photos, but Rob Dupcak is here as well. The Dupcak family is very important to Cornell Rowing. We have a Dupcak Shell Endowment Fund, and currently we have the Jim Dupcak, class of '62, who was on the lightweight team, and there's a Jim Dupcak in the lightweight squad. We have the Rob Dupcak, class of '91, who was on the heavyweight team, in the heavyweight crew, and now we have a women's boat, the Sandra Dupcak, also class of '91. And all three of those boats are currently in use right now. So we've got a whole fleet of Dupcaks. We're pretty excited. And so to christen today, whoa, that's heavy. We have our christening chalice, which it's going to be challenging to maneuver. Yeah. It's a pretty meaningful chalice. It was, let me just read the inscription on it. First prize, Watkins Regatta, whoa, 77 class crew, that's 1877, of Cornell, and September 9th, 1874. So this is full of water from the finish line, right out here, our finish line here. And this has been our tradition of christening, well, since before I was born. So I think it's a really meaningful christening chalice, and when the time is, I'll let Delma Lynne say a few words, but this is how we will christen both of these boats. Delma Lynne.
Thank you. Once again, I am more than delighted to be here to honor and memorialize my husband, my son, and my daughter-in-law. When I came to Cornell, what did I say, 100 years ago? It was really not quite 60, but anyway, a while back, I knew nothing about crew. I didn't know it existed. Never been to the boathouse, never been to a race. So I went through 4 years of undergraduate, happy-go-lucky, and while later, drawn back. You know, people return to good things. So I came back to Cornell, and as with a lot of folks, met the love of my life. And one love in his life was crew.
Yeah.
Oh? So he said, let's go down to the boathouse and go to a race. I said, okay. And we came to the boathouse and went to the race. Well, for those of you who have attended your first race, not on the water, but on the shore, you stand there and you look to the left and you look to the right and you look to the left. Finally, there's some activity down to the right. Great. And there's a little noise. And people get more and more excited the closer it gets. And then it goes by. And you know what? You know what comes next. You stand and wait. And you wait. Well, I wasn't totally enthused. I didn't think this was a fabulous sport. Yeah. But I knew I'd better get to like it. So I did. And I found myself quite enamored with crew. Not like he was, but it was an okay thing to see during graduate years. Then, a few years later, my son Bob came to Cornell. You got it. He came to crew. A little bit taller, a little bit heavier than my husband, so that was the heavyweight route, but still the same idea. Then I really got involved because one day, I think it might have been before the first race, Bob called home and said, you know, Mom, I'm rolling with the heavyweights and we don't have to pull weight or anything, so if you'd like to bring some refreshments for after the race, I think we'd all like it. Well, I was elated, and that became part of rowing tradition. Any race I attended, I loaded up stuff in the car to take on for the guys to enjoy after the race. Crew became part of my family, and I love it. Now, just to back up a little bit, standing next to my son Bob is his father-in-law, Rod Stroop, Sandy's dad, who also rowed crew. So it's kind of a crew family, except for me. But anyway, when Jim died, it was, what do I do? I knew I needed to do something for Cornell Rowing, but I didn't know what. Well, Bob and I had a lot of fun. Well, we could buy a van to carry the rowers up to a race. Maybe we could buy the truck type thing that hauls the shelves to the race. Well, ultimately, the renovation of the locker room seemed appropriate. Go for it. That wasn't enough. It wouldn't last. Look, it's already been torn down kind of thing. So I had to do more than that. So the next thing was, how about a shell for Jim in his name to be on the water for a while? But you know what? That won't last forever. Who would expect it to be here 10 years later? But it still is, and is still in the fleet. I'm delighted. But that wasn't going to be quite enough. And you know how you get driven forward sometimes, so how about an endowment fund in Jim's name that would honor Jim, the heavyweight, Rob, lightweight, and Sandy, women's, you might have guessed. Every 5 years, a new shell comes on the water. I am delighted. Delighted to be here to help to dedicate the third in that cycle, knowing that next time around, it will come on the water as a Jim Dupcak again. What better way to thank him and his memory for all crew meant to him, and I think all he meant to crew. It was kind of special. So I'm delighted that when Bob was here, he met the love of his life, Sandy, who became the daughter I never had, the mother of 2 wonderful grandchildren, and I'm able to stand today and say thank you for being part of the family and giving us a cause to get together today. My pleasure to also be part of such a major thing as the dedication of the boathouse. Thank you all.